And welcome to the Pat Donovan Show. Pat Donovan, Chris Kasak here from the Tampa Live Sports Studios. And we got plenty to talk about today. We'll talk about some Lightning hockey and all the moves that they've made, including the move to being now just 5 points out of that final playoff spot and also 5 points out of the division lead.
Yeah.
But we're going to get to that later. We're also going to talk some Rays baseball. We think we'll try to get in some Buccaneer talk as well. Certainly I want to talk about a quick Twitter conversation, basically like 2 tweets back and forth. But Ira Kaufman had tweeted something this morning about Bill Sheridan, and I just kind of said to him, are you sold? And I don't know that I am, and I'll tell you why later in the show. And the response I got from Ira Kaufman, and if you're a Buccaneer fan, you know who Ira Kaufman is. The response I got from him is, I'm with you. So he doesn't know if he's sold either. I like that Bill Sheridan, who's a good guy, has gotten himself another opportunity, and I hope he does well. But there's a reason why I'm not 100% sold, and probably as much as any of the coaches or coordinators they've brought in, I have concerns about Bill Sheridan. However, and Chris, you just got behind an accident and had a tough ride to work. This whole morning has been like frustration morning for me. And we're going to start the show. It's not Casual Friday when we usually do these kind of things.
Frustration Wednesday.
We're going to start talking about pet peeves.
All right.
And I've got one that it's so silly. And I've realized that about myself. A lot of my pet peeves are things that shouldn't bother me at all. A lot of my pet peeves are things that I just shouldn't have time to worry about. But for some reason, they drive me absolutely freaking crazy. And one of them this morning I noticed as I grabbed some breakfast on the way to work because I was out of breakfast items at home, like you give a damn. But I stopped for breakfast, and I noticed one of my big-time pet peeves, and every now and then I'll even ask a guy why he does it. But I tweeted immediately, and the comment I made, and I was surprised to see not much of a reaction from it other than from our friend Styles G. White. The comment I made is, I can never take you seriously. If we're having a conversation, it doesn't mean I think you're a jerk. Doesn't mean I dislike you. But if I'm standing there having a conversation with you about anything, I cannot take you seriously if you've still got the stupid stickers on your hat. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I've asked for explanations. I've asked people, look, can you tell me why the hell you do that? Other than just trying to fit in. Other than just trying to do the same thing everybody else does. What in God's name are you doing with the sticker still on your hat that you probably bought 3 months ago? And the only explanation I've ever gotten was one kid told me, it makes it look new. And I thought, well, first of all, I like my hat to have a little character.
Yeah.
You know, my wife's always trying to get me to throw shirts away because they get stains. That's character. All right? Those shirts have been through something with me. And so have my hats. I like some character on my hat. I don't want it to look brand new.
Yeah.
I want you to know when the Rays get to the World Series and I've got my grungy Rays hat on that I was wearing that
Yeah, you had it from the beginning.
a long time ago. But the guy says it makes it look new. And I thought, no, it don't. No, it don't. All right, if I take that damn hat with the stupid sticker on it and I throw it in a puddle, it looks like crap.
Yeah.
It still looks like crap. It doesn't look new because you get the sticker on it. If you take good care of it, it's going to look new. The sticker doesn't make it look new. It makes you look like an idiot, in my opinion. I'm sorry, and I see it everywhere, and I see it from people I like, but at the end of the day, I have trouble taking you seriously as an adult. All right, if you're 17, I don't care. Do whatever stupid fad you want to. If you're over 17, if you're 18 or over, for crying out loud, take the damn thing off your hat. Am I crazy?
No, you're not. And it's actually funny is that I actually have a hat that still has a sticker on it.
Damn you.
But I have a reason. And you actually called me out when I did it. There's a reason for it. It was one that I had.
Do you wear the hat?
Yes, I do.
Oh, man.
Occasionally. But the reason why is because
Here we go. This should be good.
Listen, and I did take the sticker off. But I put it back on. This is what happened. This is what happened.
The only thing worse than leaving the sticker on is actually taking it off and putting it back on.
No, because there's something that looks stupider, like dumber than saying stupider.
Now hold on,
dumber
folks.
than the sticker.
If you're listening at home, I want you to remember the guy who has the sticker on his hat just used the word stupider.
Yes.
I'm just
throwing
that out there.
Yes, the made-up word stupider. The only thing dumber than how a sticker looks on a hat is having almost a silhouette of where the sticker used to be. I had this hat and I just wore it all the time. It was kind of just like a fad thing. I had it in high school and I left the sticker on it or whatever. And then I'm like, no, this is dumb. Why do I still have the sticker off?
So you were sticker on the hat guy for a while.
Not for a while. I didn't wear the hat very much.
All right.
So then I take the sticker off, and just from the sweat and just how I am, there was
the character on the hat.
Yes, there was just a clean, the whole hat was dirty, but there was just a clean circle from where the sticker was. And I'm like, all right, that looks absolutely ridiculous, and I put the sticker back on.
You know what?
Just a clean spot on a really dirty hat that's a perfect circle looked ridiculous. Ridiculous. I'd rather have the sticker.
Of the doubt. All right, I've had to come up with a couple good ideas for you in the past. Not about this. I'm just saying we won't tell anybody, but I've had some good ideas for you and how to handle things. Maybe with the young lady that you're with.
Yeah.
All right, I won't get into details, but I have good ideas.
Okay.
And
yes, you do.
You know what they say when you fall down and you scrape your knee? Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah.
And rub some dirt on that damn hat and get the sticker off of it, at least if you're going to wear it. Because I'd rather have a dirty hat than one with a sticker on. And I don't know why. Again, it shouldn't bother me at all. Who gives a damn? I know I did some pretty ridiculous things when I was in high school, but I'm not in high school anymore. So I stopped doing them.
Yep. I mean, well, it's a plain white hat. So if I rub some dirt on it, it's not going to look good. It won't look good.
Rub some dirt on that damn. The rest of it, you just said the rest of it's dirty.
It is. I mean, but that one spot is just, when you take the sticker off, it's clean because it just looks ridiculous. I would much rather just have the sticker on and just have people like you be bothered that,
really?
Yeah.
See, I'd rather have somebody go, the hell is wrong with that guy's hat, than what the hell's wrong with that guy.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I don't know why, but I see the sticker on your hat. If I talk to you out in public, I think you're a knucklehead.
Well, this is the other thing. It wasn't the sticker on the top of the bill that everyone sees that has the size. It was about the size. It's about the size of a nickel, and it's underneath the bill. So, I mean, it just bothered me because I would look up and I would just see this spot, and I'd rather see a holographic sticker than a just clean spot. It bothered me when I took it off. I'm like, yo, that looks so dumb.
Here's the good news. And if you haven't seen Chris Kasak, somewhere we're going to get like pictures on the website and stuff for people to be able to reference.
Yeah.
The good news is that Chris's height, likely nobody's seeing that sticker on the bottom of it. All right, unless they're children. Yeah. They don't know any better anyways.
Yeah, so nobody even sees the sticker anyway, except for me, and it was a distraction just to have a clean spot.
But the sticker's not a distraction?
No, I was used to it.
Knowing that adults everywhere are pissed off at you and think well,
they can't see.
You might still be a teenager because of that damn sticker?
Where if you're an adult and you could see underneath the bill of my hat, then you're Danny DeVito, and I'm just going to shake your hand, and you could criticize me all you want. So.
Yeah, DeVito can say whatever he wants to whoever he wants. Let's be honest. He's Danny DeVito.
Well, before we move on, let me get into one of my pet peeves for Pet Peeves Wednesday.
I wasn't going to just hog the pet peeve. By the way, one more.
Okay.
Folks out there in Florida, and, we always talk about how you're not supposed to talk to folks. We talk to one guy at a time, but I want this to be to everyone.
All right.
It's the little pedal on the right. That's all I got to say. It's the little pedal on the right, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I mean, that was one that bothered me this morning when I was on my way in. Had to deal with traffic, and I took an alternate route, and nobody wanted to hit the gas pedal. There were people braking for no reason with miles of empty space in front of them. Just drives me nuts. One of my biggest pet peeves is actually kind of sports-related. My girlfriend completely disagrees with it. My dad actually agrees with me on this.
I disagree with you.
You might.
Wholeheartedly.
You're watching a basketball game. Let's say it's a 12-point game. Somebody makes a layup. Oh, now they're within 10. No, they're not. They're within 11. They're within 12. They're within 15. They're within 20. They're not within 10. They're at 10. Whenever they say, oh, they've gotten the lead within 10. No, they haven't. They've gotten it within 11. Within 10 is 9 and lower. And every announcer says it. I
say it.
Now they're within 1. What, are you down by half a point? What, are you down by 3/4 of a point? No. Now they've gotten the lead under 2.
I've noticed that while I have ridiculous pet peeves about people and the things that they do, Chris Kasak has pet peeves about semantics.
Yes.
And I'm trying to remember the other one, but we just had this conversation about something else that was semantics.
Yes.
And I know I do it. When I'm calling games, I'll say within whatever it is. And I'm trying to figure out whether you're right or not. We had this whole thing yesterday about adverbs.
Yeah.
And we won't get into that, but it took a little while, but we figured out that I was right. I don't know if you're right on this or not, because you are within 10, aren't you? If it's 10 points, you're within that 10 points.
But look at the actual word, within. If you are within the boundaries of a state, you're not bordering the state. You're not bordering the state line.
Are you on the state?
What do you mean?
If you're within the state, are you on the state?
Yeah. I'm trying to understand your question.
If you're within 10 points, you're at or on 10 points.
Yeah, but no, it's still the word within, which means inside of 10 points. If you are within a house, you're not standing in the doorway.
All right, fine. It's still semantics, and that's one you're never going to change.
No, absolutely never change.
I'm going to do it quite a bit from here on out whenever we do games, especially when we do games together.
Yeah.
Because I know you won't call me out during the game.
No.
And it's going to be a lot of fun just watching your face as you're like, damn you, Pat.
I've learned just to get over it. I mean, I sit there and I hear announcers say it all the time, and my dad points it out more than me. And I was like, oh, yeah, they're not within 2. I'm like, I know they're not. Like, me and my dad, he agrees with me. My girlfriend completely disagrees with it.
What the hell was the other one? There was another one that was, like, driving you crazy, and it was just semantics.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was. I just remember just thinking it was absolutely hilarious that it drove you crazy. And it's a lot like me. It's things that drive me crazy. The average person is going to look at and go, who gives a damn?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's like, there's people all over the country screaming about gay marriage.
Yeah.
Who gives a damn?
Yeah.
Who gives a if they don't want to marry me,
yeah,
I don't care. You have
agree.
the right to marry whoever the hell you want as long as it's not me. This is the way I look at it.
And as long as it's a human being.
You know what I mean? I don't make other people's decisions.
Yeah.
And we don't get into politics here, but whether it's gay marriage or abortion or whatever it is, I'm not making decisions for you. If you're not breaking the Constitution and you're not trying to kill people or commit violent crimes, I honestly don't give a damn what you do, no matter how strange it is.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Right.
That's about as much politics as you'll hear on the Pat Donovan Show.
That's it. And I said it the other day. Last week I was sitting down with a couple people, and I said, I won't talk politics at the end of the day. I talk a little bit. I got pretty upset when with the knucklehead from Monday Night Football got fired because he said Obama was the enemy. I thought that was stupid because the president of the United States is not the enemy. I don't care if it's Barack Obama, George Bush, or anybody else.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. And get the hell out of the country if you think the president's the enemy, regardless of I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
All right? I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. It's all ignorant. But I said the last week when I was sitting down with a couple of people, I said, I don't talk politics at all because at the end of the day, I want all those left-wing loons to listen to everything I have to say.
Yeah.
And I want all those right-wing loons to listen to everything I have to say. And at the end of the day, most people that are either left or right are crazy, and the rest of us are in the middle anyways.
Yep.
A lot of us don't, if you look at everything Republicans believe, a lot of it is absolute nonsense. And if you look at everything Democrats believe, a lot of it's absolute nonsense. And the people in the middle, a lot of them are pretty retarded too.
Yes.
Excuse the word retarded. I get away with it because I did have a retarded sister. I'll say that. No, I'm kidding. Don't want to offend anybody, though. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
But look, I just want them all to listen to me about sports. I don't care. Politics is just so damn, polarizing.
Yes.
At the end of the day, I'll let people much smarter than me, much more serious than me, talk about that stuff, and we'll have fun talking about sports because, I don't know. Politics we need, but I die without sports. Let's be honest.
It's a lot more fun to talk sports anyway. I mean, who wants to just, and all the people that are really into politics, they're all grumpy and
they're
just
all pissy,
mad.
yeah.
They're just grumpy and mad at life and mad that, that's the thing. There's no president ever that's going to have everything be one person's way. There's no way that a president's going to get elected and somebody's going to be like, oh, wow, that's exactly how I want it. That's exactly how I want it. That's exactly how I want it. And that's just how the country is. Deal with it. Don't complain and go on the air and it's miserable. It's stupid. And everyone nobody has a good attitude about it. Everyone is just angry and
miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable.
Not a good way to live.
That's politics. It's like, my job today is talk about how ridiculously stupid the other guy is.
Yeah.
I don't care what I have to say. Don't worry about my opinions. I just got to tell you how ignorant and stupid that other guy is. Give me a break. Yeah. Another one of my pet peeves. Politics. Yeah. At all. And I actually like politics.
So do I.
I like to watch some of that stuff. I like to know what the hell's going on to an extent. I let the real smart people deal with the rest of it. But I like to know what's going on to an extent. I'm certainly going to know who the vice president is for crying. I know people, in my own family. They go, who's that guy?
Yeah.
That's Joe Biden. Yeah. You probably should know who that is.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to get way into it because at the end of the day, it's just, when do you ever turn on one of those shows and they're having a good time?
Yeah.
When do you ever, unless it's, what's his face there, Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
He has a good time.
Colbert has a good time.
But they're comedians first.
Yes, absolutely.
When do you ever turn on a show that's literally about politics and people aren't just pissing and moaning about something?
Yeah. I mean, I'd much rather, it's good to know the facts about politics, but leave the opinions out of it. I don't care. I don't care about everybody knows what they say about opinions, and definitely stands true with people in politics.
What do they say about opinions? You can't say that word on the air.
Yes, I know.
You can actually, here's the rule, and a lot of people don't know this rule.
You could say the first part of it, but you can't say them together or something?
No.
Okay.
Here's the rule that most people do not know. I can call you one. I just can't talk about yours.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can use it as an adjective. I can't use it as a noun.
That's Mad Libs yesterday.
There you go.
There we go. It all comes full circle.
How do you like that?
It's perfect.
It's almost like we planned this thing out.
Which we didn't.
Well, you never do.
No.
When we start planning stuff out, that's when there's not enough to talk about.
Yep.
But there's plenty to talk about today. Again, we'll get into Rays baseball talk a little bit. We'll talk about the Buccaneers and the hiring of Bill Sheridan and why I'm not 100% sold on that hiring. I really like the way that coaching staff is starting to shape up. I like having the advisors to an extent, or senior assistants as they're calling them. They're advisors. I don't know. I don't mind. You don't see that as much in the NFL. They're all over baseball. You got Fred McGriff. You got Don Zimmer. Advisors for the Rays. And God knows they probably just collect a paycheck to be awesome.
Yeah.
Don Zimmer, let me tell you about Don Zimmer. Just unbelievable. It's like hanging out with your grandfather. The first time I met Don Zimmer, it was just like, who are you, young man? And he just wanted to hear all about who I was. No reason at all.
Yeah.
Not because I warranted it. Just because I sat down next to the guy on the bench in the dugout. And, hey, who are you, young? Just one of those guys. Just an awesome, awesome guy in this community. Love having him around the Rays. Every time I see him at the ballpark, I look for an excuse to talk to him. I don't even have a reason half the time. I'm just like, what could I talk to Don about? He's that cool of a guy. He's like Dick Crippen. Dick Crippen's another advisor for the Rays. So you see it all over baseball, not so much in football. I like it, and I think that, like we talked about last week or earlier this week, whenever it was, I think it was Greg Schiano's idea. I don't think it was the money, as we talked about, because, again, if they just hired Butch Davis in that capacity, I agree with the people that are being lazy thinkers and saying, oh, well, they're only putting him in that position so they don't have to pay that $500,000 buyout or whatever it is from North Carolina.
Yeah.
But no, they hired another guy in the same position, which is probably just as much money, if not more, than it is to pay that buyout. So obviously, if you're thinking that's the reason they did it, it's kind of lazy thinking.
Well, yeah, and after we had that conversation last week or the week before during the show, it's actually come out. Mark Dominic has actually said that if Butch Davis wanted to be the defensive coordinator, they would have paid his buyout. But this was Butch.
Sure, they would have.
This was Butch Davis's decision. He didn't want to coach anymore, or at least this year he didn't want to coach. So. So it was his decision. They said that they were willing to make him the defensive coordinator, but he just didn't want to do it. But he still wanted to help out his friend Greg Schiano, and hence the title that he was given.
Then you wonder, did they bring in the offensive one, just to have that balance?
Yeah, just for some symmetry.
But again, I don't think it boils down to money. I mean, we were all cautious about how much belief we have in the Glazers spending money. We all know. And it's not bashing the team. This is just facts. We all know this team spent less money than anybody for years now. So I understand the skepticism. Or skepticism.
Yeah.
I understand either one.
That too.
But if you take the time to think about it, they didn't do it because of the money.
No, they didn't.
There's no way. Anyways, we'll talk about why, while I like the senior assistants. Not a big fan just yet of the defensive coordinator, but you know what? Nobody's perfect their first time around. Maybe that was the issue. We'll see this time with Bill Sheridan. But his track record, a little bit scary for me. We'll be back. It's the Pat Donovan Show with Chris Kasak right here on your home for live streaming sports in Tampa Bay, TLSTV.com.
Keeps the tackler, gets pushed out of bounds, but
deep, and it's intercepted in the end zone by Robert Davis, and Nelson Aguilar will walk in again with another Berkeley Prep touchdown.
To open, and another ace to the same position.
keeps the tackler, gets pushed out of bounds, but
deep, and it's intercepted in the end zone by Robert Davis, and Nelson Aguilar will walk in again with another Berkeley Prep touchdown.
To open, and another ace to the same position.
escapes the tackler.
Get the South about your mouth. Where to get time out? So we know everything that you about. So try another route, paper boy. You can't destroy what we done built.
All right, welcome back. It is the Pat Donovan Show here on Tampa Live Sports. Pat Donovan, Chris Kazak. I gotta find more edited versions of songs.
Yeah.
I'm a big hip-hop guy. I know you can't tell because I don't bust a sag. Is that what they say nowadays? That's what we called it when I was a kid, bust a sag.
I've never even heard that.
Which means walking around like an idiot with your droids hanging out. I don't bust a sag, you know, I'm not real cool. I'm not. I mean, come on. You know, big fat white guy who loves sports. You know, how many of those do you see in rap videos? All right? It's the last time you saw Chris Berman in a rap video. We're not cool.
He was in a Hootie and the Blowfish video.
There you go. There you go. All right, and Hootie, or was he the Blowfish? I think he was Hootie, right?
Yeah.
That schmuck went to country.
Yeah.
Which is something you'll never hear on this show.
Nope.
And if you like country music, good for you. But it's, God, is it terrible. I mean, just terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Anyways, want to get into the Buccaneers coaching staff. It's finally just about complete. Certainly the major positions the coordinators are in. Interesting, each of the coordinators, former New York Giants coaches. Mike Sullivan, of course, the offensive coordinator now, was the quarterback's coach for Eli Manning and the Giants the last couple of years. Bill Sheridan was actually the defensive coordinator with the Giants in 2009. And, yeah.
Didn't go very well.
Did not go well at all. And, again, I'm all about giving people second chances. I love that Raheem has a job right now. Wish it wasn't with the Redskins, who I despise. But I love that Raheem got himself another job. And I hope Raheem gets another shot to be a head coach. I think he will. He's so young.
So do I.
Because, again, I'll stand by what I said when I met him. I think the guy can be a great head coach. I think the guy is the kind of guy that guys want to follow. And they didn't follow him last year for whatever reason. You know, I didn't want to talk about firing Raheem at all during the year. I really believed that they would turn it around at least to an extent. Maybe not make the playoffs, but to an extent where you go, okay, I can still see things moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Even for guys like me who believe in Raheem wholeheartedly, nothing at the end of the year that you could say other than something's got to be done.
Yeah.
And that's what they were saying in New York after 2009 and the way that defense played under Bill Sheridan. And you got to wonder what's going to be different here. That 09 Giants team, I think you'd have to say certainly more talented
Definitely.
than this Buccaneer team.
As it stands now.
Yeah, oh yeah, well, obviously, as it stands now, correct. And, you know, I was listening to Silly all my way in, and he's kind of riding him because the guy said all the mistakes or a lot of the issues with the defense are correctable. And he just kind of said, I can't believe he thinks this guy thinks he can fix it with a piece of chalk. And look, I don't think that's the case. And I find it a little funny when we dig that deep into anything a coach says. Because at the end of the day, they're not telling you anything.
No.
If you expect anything but coach speech from a coach, you're fooling yourself. And you're wasting. And every time somebody goes, I can't believe this guy said this. Or I can't believe he doesn't care about that. Or I can't believe he's not mad at this player. He's not going to tell you, you moron.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe sometimes you get Bill Parcells out there. You get Jim Mora out there who says, we suck. Gotta miss Jim Mora.
Yeah. Go to another sport, you're thinking like Bobby Knight. I mean, but these are the exception. They're not the rule. They're going to speak in coach lingo.
Right. More times than not, when a coach says something, you line up the worst football player in the NFL and ask a coach what he thinks about him, and you'll hear some real positive crap.
Yeah.
And again, the worst player in the NFL is a pretty damn good athlete.
Yeah.
But still, you line up the worst of the worst in front of coaches and tell them, give me a session, give me something on this guy, especially if he's his guy. And all you're going to get is positive, and all you're going to get is coach speak. So don't be surprised. I like the fact that if Bill Sheridan tries to run the kind of defense the Giants ran a couple years ago, and a lot of people wanted to compare this team to that 07 team, but one of the bigger differences was that Perry Fuel's defense is not the same. You didn't have the kind of blitzing that they did under Steve Spagnuolo. Bill Sheridan was the replacement for Steve Spagnuolo. And he tried to run that same kind of defense, and he's made some comments to make you believe he's going to run that kind of defense here in Tampa. I like a blitzing defense.
So do I.
I like an aggressive defense. You get beat, but you create turnovers. You make people uncomfortable, and I like that. I like the system. For instance, we talk about this Giants staff because these are the guys that are coming over here. I like the system they ran under Bill Sheridan. Didn't work well under Bill Sheridan, but I like that system more so than I do like the coverage system of a Perry Fuel, for instance. So I like the idea of bringing pressure with this Buccaneer team. I like the idea of giving help to the front four when it comes to rushing the passer, because so far they haven't shown that they can do it with the front four.
Yeah, they can't do it on their own.
Adrian Claiborne's the only guy I think is a very good pass rusher at this point.
Daquan Bowers has shown flashes. In the Carolina game, he was all over Cam Newton. There was one drive where I think he had 2 sacks and a batted ball, he had a very good game, and he's shown flashes as well.
Look, Bowers was the best defensive end in that draft if he's healthy.
Yeah, and during the first mock draft, he was actually ranked number 1 overall before all the information came out about his knees and stuff like that. But the very first mock draft, Kuiper and McShay both had him as the number 1 overall player, and we ended up getting him pretty late, at least by those standards. We got him in the second round. So I think that was a steal.
I heard some people saying that Bowers might go 20 to the Buccaneers. And I said, he ain't lasting that long. Now, I didn't know about how bad the knee was and, some of these things that were starting to be talked about in the NFL about this kid's health. But I said, he doesn't last to 20. And the Bucs pick him up in the second round. Yeah. So I like Daquan Bowers a lot. I don't know that I'm definitely sold that he can be a consistent pass rusher on his own without some help.
Yeah.
The one guy that I say, if you're not doubling him, I think he's got a good shot to get to the quarterback is Adrian Claiborne.
Yes, absolutely.
So I like the idea of blitzing some of these linebackers. I also like, if you're not going to change the personnel quite a bit, I like the idea of a guy like Geno Hayes and the speed that he has coming off the edge. I like blitzing up the middle with a guy like Mason Foster. Mason Foster, for a middle linebacker, big, strong kid. And he can help create a push up the middle when you decide to bring him.
Mm-hmm.
And that middle linebacker will blitz more under Bill Sheridan than he ever has before in that Tampa 2, assuming he brings as much pressure as he's talked about probably bringing. So I like the scheme that he wants to bring. I have questions about whether or not he can coach it up, whether or not he can execute it after what I've seen in his past. But hey, everybody deserves a second chance. This is his, and since he's here, I hope he's successful.
Yeah, certainly, and I agree, but I also really think that no matter who we would have brought in, I think that the defense was going to have to improve. Even if we didn't make a single change, I think it was going to improve from what we saw last year. And honestly, I feel like Coach Raheem Morris was just way too close to all those players. Just a few years older than them. He coached the defense for a while, and he was really close to all these players. I think he had a little bit of trouble, sitting down Aqib Talib. Sitting down players and they make a bad play. I mean, he did it with Brian Price, but I think that was wrong guy, wrong time, because, he's never had any issues.
Yeah.
But I feel like just bringing in a new voice that these players aren't so close with and aren't almost friends with off the field, he's a coach. It's like it's like a parent. You want to be friends with your kids, but you're the parent first. And I think that bringing in somebody like Bill Sheridan, he doesn't know any of these players. They don't know him. They're going to almost be on their best behavior, but they're not going to try to get away with as much as they tried to get away with Raheem. And I just think any new voice is certainly going to help us step up. And also Raheem had so much on his plate with defensive coordinator and head coach. So I think having just anybody being brought in is going to improve the defense, to be honest with you.
I'm not a big fan of coaches being coordinators as well.
Yeah.
I like coaches being able to let somebody else do that, even if they're good at it. You can still have a say. you can still say, on this situation, this is what I want to see. Don't let me see this play on 3rd and 7.
Yeah.
I want to see this. And
bring some pressure.
Day, even into the game, even during the game, you can look at a guy and say, hey, this is what I want. But he shouldn't be calling every play. Not in my opinion, he shouldn't be calling every play.
Yeah.
I like the CEO role of a head coach. I like a head coach being able to turn his attention to whatever it needs to be at any time. And sometimes it's as simple as walking over and talking to one guy because he just made a big play or a bad play or something, and you've got to get his head back on straight. He made a huge play, and you want to say, hey, good job. It just happened. It's over. I don't want to hear about it again. Go do it again.
Yeah.
Or, hey, don't worry about it. You're going to go do something better. So I like the head coach being able to have that leeway. You can't if you're calling plays. You can't divert your attention from what's happening right there on the field right then if you're calling plays. So I like not having the head coach be the coordinator. At the same time, a lot of people have gotten on Raheem for the fact that he was so friendly with the players. And I do think there needed to be a little bit more separation of friendship and coach. However, I hold the players more accountable for that than the coach.
Certainly.
All right? Because at the end of the day, that's the guy all these players said they want. Whether it was Raheem or another coach, when Rex Ryan's hooting and hollering out in New York, everyone's saying, oh, man, that looks like a lot of fun. I want to go play for that guy. If that's who you want, don't turn around and tell me he wasn't strong enough with you or he wasn't tough enough on you. I don't buy it. Be a damn professional. You're making millions and millions of dollars. Be a damn professional. And if you really respect that guy and you like having him around, play for him, for crying out loud.
Well, I think Raheem Morris would have had a lot more success if his first head coaching job was not with the Bucs. If he was with people he wasn't as familiar with, he could have done all the exact same things. But I think Raheem Morris's style is more, people might disagree with this because he's a younger guy, but I feel like Raheem Morris's strengths would more so, and in the way his coaching style would be more conducive to an older group of guys as opposed to a younger one, because these younger ones, he's younger, they're going to try to all be buddies, like I was saying about how they were way too close. But I think with an older group of guys, they already know what's expected of them, and they know how to handle friendships with coaches and stuff like that. I think some of how young our team was and still is. I feel like having a younger coach there, they were never groomed into the correct way that they're supposed to act in the NFL, the way that they're supposed to act on the field, their effort level. And I think that Raheem Morris' first coaching stint with somebody that he's not as familiar with, and maybe some veterans splashed in there that could do that job for him to kind of control the locker room. But there was just way too much for Raheem to do, being familiar with all these guys, trying to be defensive coordinator, trying to control the locker room. I think if he would have just gone, if his first coaching stint would have been with another team that had some veteran presence that could have handled some of the in the locker room stuff for him, I think he would have been a little bit more successful. Like with Coach Tomlin. He was a young guy when he first took over the Steelers, and it was just a nice influx of veterans and young people that were able to all buy in. And I just think that Raheem was kind of put in a lose-lose situation there.
It's interesting you say that because it makes you wonder. You think back to Raheem's first year here. They cut Derek Brooks, and they cut a handful of veterans that were key players to the team that went to the playoffs just before that. And it makes you wonder, if you had a Derek Brooks in that locker room, especially Derek Brooks, but a couple of those other veterans, how would this have been different for Raheem? Would he have had to deal with this? Would these kids have kept their heads on straight if they – I don't know if you ever talked face-to-face with Derek Brooks, but the guy could be the nicest guy in the world. He's still intimidating as hell.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're a kid in that locker room, I don't care how much grab ass you're playing with the coach. At the end of the day, if Derek Brooks is saying, hey, kid, get your head on straight, it's not crooked.
Yeah, and I think you would listen to Derek Brooks more than Raheem Morris, as sad as it sounds.
But again, that's, in my opinion, that's on you and not the coach.
It's absolutely on the players. But I feel like they were just so young that they just weren't, I don't know, they weren't familiar with how they were supposed to act in the locker room, how they're supposed to act during the week. And having some of those veterans there to kind of take over Raheem's job when he's not around, because he can't be around 24/7, but these players spend a lot of time together. So I really think that it was a poor decision. And I think that if you would have gotten some veterans for Raheem this year, I think he still could have gotten the job done. But that's in the past now. Now we got to look to Greg Schiano.
Yep. We're going to look outside of the Buccaneers when we come back. something I know you love to hear about in Florida. We don't talk about it very much here on Tampa Live Sports on the Pat Donovan Show because I think it's overblown. But finally, we're going to talk some Tim Tebow when we come back. Brady Quinn and Tim Tebow when we come back right here on Tampa Live Sports. It's the Pat Donovan Show with Chris Kasak.
Escapes the tackler, gets pushed out of bounds, but
Deep, and it's intercepted in the end zone by Robert Davis, and Nelson Aguilar will walk in again with another Berkeley Prep touchdown.
To open, and another ace to the same position.
escapes the tackler, gets pushed out of bounds, but
deep, and it's intercepted in the end zone by Robert Davis, and Nelson Aguilar will walk in again with another Berkeley Prep touchdown.
To open, and another ace to the same position.
I know what you're thinking. A little slow for a Pat Donovan Show bumper.
So we call him now?
Man, these guys are good. Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Friends of the show.
Yes.
You know who this is?
I might, if I actually can hear some lyrics.
One of the greatest albums ever, in my opinion. You got to be in the right mood to listen to it. Just a great album. There'll be some lyrics coming up. It takes a while though. This song is 7 minutes long. We might play it through the whole segment. We might just play the whole song. The beauty of putting the show on YouTube is they don't get you for putting the song on there.
Yeah.
They just add the little link so people can buy it from iTunes if they want it. Brilliant, really.
Yes.
What I don't understand is though, why do they do that? Why don't they do it where you can buy it from Google Music, considering that Google owns YouTube?
It's an interesting question.
Kind of strange.
Very.
What the hell, Google? I got your back.
Maybe they just know more people have iTunes.
I got your back, Google.
Wake up, young man. It's time to wake up.
Let Chris Kasak get some lyrics in here.
Your love affair has got to go
Don't know.
You recognize the voice still, don't you?
for 10 long years.
Oh, is this Alice in Chains?
This is not Alice in Chains. This is Lane Staley. And a lot of people know, a lot of people don't know.
Long years.
Lane Staley had this side project for a little while called Mad Season. And I believe the album is just a self-titled album. Unbelievable. A little slow, but just incredible.
Haunting, even.
Yeah, you like the haunting, huh?
Yeah.
That's Lane Staley for you, though. He's got
Oh,
that
absolutely.
voice that, like, almost moves you emotionally. You know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's not a cracker. You heard him.
Yeah, you could definitely feel what, or understand what he's feeling when he's singing some of these songs.
Well, I'm trying to understand what Brady Quinn is feeling for Tim Tebow. It's not love.
No.
And I want to talk a little bit about his comments. I don't necessarily disagree with all of his comments. I do disagree with Brady Quinn being the guy to make those comments. Because Dante Whitner of the San Francisco 49ers was on the NFL Network talking about it last night, and he just hit the nail on the head. You don't need to be talking about it. LaDainian Tomlinson didn't need to talk about what was wrong with the Jets. Let somebody else do that. And I don't think Brady Quinn needed to make these comments. And I'm a pretty big Tebow detractor. I love Tim Tebow. You can't not like the kid.
Yeah.
Unless you're just bitter. Honestly.
I'm not a huge fan of him, but, I mean, you still have to be in awe of what he's done.
I'm not, on the field, I'm not in awe at all. I think he's not a very good quarterback. But I like, when I saw him and Demaryius Thomas on the sideline, there's a highlight they play a lot. Oh, not a highlight, but a thing I've seen a few times on NFL Network and elsewhere. And it's just him after Demaryius Thomas dropped a big pass going, hey, man, whatever. It's just going to take a little longer to do it, but no big deal. You know what? You're going to go out and catch the game-winning pass now. How do you dislike that kid?
Yeah.
I don't think he's a good quarterback. I don't know if he'll ever be one.
I don't think he will either.
But I don't know how you dislike the kid. But anyways, here are the comments from Brady Quinn if you haven't heard them yet. And he didn't hold back. Early in the season, there was a game when Kyle Orton got hurt and the coaches were calling for me to go in. But Kyle got up and finished the game out. So I was the second string guy. Then a few weeks later, they decided to put Tim in. I felt like the fans had a lot to do with that, just because they were chanting his name. There was a big calling for him. No, I didn't have any billboards. That would have been nice. Certainly sounds a little bitter.
Yes.
And he's very possibly right. He's very possibly right. But he doesn't have to be the guy to say it.
No, and him saying it, it really does just sound like sour grapes.
I'll tell you this. It ain't helping you get a job, buddy.
No.
It's not helping you get a job. You're a bust so far. You're a bust. You came in the first round higher than Tebow. You were supposed to be the guy. All right? And you've been terrible at best.
Yeah.
All right?
Terrible's putting it lightly.
Let's be honest. The biggest impact Brady Quinn has made in the NFL is getting traded for Peyton Hillis and then Peyton Hillis becoming a star with the Browns.
Yeah.
That's the impact you've made, Brady Quinn. So give me a break with your hating of Tim Tebow. You bum.
Yeah, it's definitely just sour grapes, and he's bitter that he wasn't given the opportunity. But I mean, on a certain level, you understand it because every athlete wants to be on the field, on the ice, on the court. They want to be in the game, always. But I mean, everybody already knows that. He doesn't have to come out and start bad-mouthing Tebow behind his back and talk about how I wanted it to be me. Basically, he's just saying he wanted it to be him. Obviously, he wanted it to be him. You don't have to go out and say that because now who's going to want to take you onto their team? Because if you're not starting, you're just going to backhand the guy that's ahead of you on the depth chart.
That's it, man. Look, at the end of the day, I want to be on the radio every day. But if I go out tomorrow and do an interview with somebody and it's in the newspaper here or it's in a magazine here and I'm going, yeah, well, you know, that guy sucks and I'm better than him and I should be on in that slot or I should be on this station or I should be... Nobody's giving me a job.
Nope.
Because I'm a bitter prick. Sorry, Brady Quinn. Play better quarterback and then you'll get an opportunity. If he was that much better than Tim Tebow, he'd have been out there.
Yep.
So, suck it up, Brady Quinn. Go do another one of those stupid commercials. I don't remember who it was for.
Yeah, just retire already. How about that? I mean...
Look, he seems like a schmuck.
I'm not a big Notre Dame fan. You know how I stand.
I don't like
you know how I stand on Notre Dame. Being from Chicago, they got more coverage in Chicago papers than any team that played in the state of Illinois. So I really dislike Notre Dame. So I never liked Brady Quinn, and I don't want to say it makes me happy to see him not have success, but it doesn't upset me to see him not have success.
I'm not rooting against the guy.
I'm not rooting for him though.
But like I've said about LeBron James, like I said about Delman Young, I hope he grows up. Because until he does, he seems like a real schmuck.
Yes.
Anyways, the entire game, the defensive line is chasing our quarterback around. And that wears the pass rush down. Meanwhile, the defensive backs are chasing receivers, but you only throw 8 passes, so they start to get lazy. It only takes that one play, that one big pass for a touchdown. We've had a lot of, I guess, luck, to put it simply. I mean...
I don't disagree with that, though.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Again...
Not the person to be saying it.
You're not the guy who should say that, all right? And I made this comments about backup quarterbacks before. If you're the backup quarterback, until and unless that starting quarterback gets hurt, I don't really give a damn. I didn't hear what David Carr had to say at all this year. I didn't hear what Josh Johnson had to say at all this year. I didn't hear what I'm trying to think of a good backup. I'm trying to think of a guy who's actually worthy of speaking every now and then. You know, I'll tell you a guy I did hear this preseason was Vince Young. And you know what I said at the time? I said, you're an idiot. All right? I don't know whose job it is to nickname a team, to call a team the dream team. I know whose job it isn't, and that's the backup quarterback. Shut up, Vince Young. Yeah. And that's why when it started to fall apart for the Eagles, as much as I despise the Eagles, I actually had their back a little bit. I said, you know what, at the end of the day, I never heard anybody on the Eagles outside of Vince Young say the words dream team.
Yeah.
Unless they were responding to a question about it. The team didn't say it. They weren't printing T-shirts. It wasn't on the website. The only guy that said dream team was Vince Young, and it's the damn backup quarterback. Shut your mouth already.
It's easy to say stuff like that when you're only getting on the field Monday through Saturday.
Mop up time.
Monday through Saturday, just in practice. And he took a couple snaps this year because Vic got injured, but
at the end of the day, Kafka was better.
Yeah, I mean, look at it this way: you don't see Flynn from the Packers. I mean,
that kid's gonna be all right.
Yeah, but it's also kind of easy when everything is going right to not have anything negative to say. But
saying we're the dream team is a negative.
Exactly, but you didn't hear the backup quarterback saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna repeat. We won it last year. We're better this year." Like We're the dream team. We're the best team in the NFL. We're the new dynasty. No, you didn't hear him saying anything like that. You're a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, nobody cares. And nobody cares what Brady Quinn says. Here's the last quote that I have that I thought was probably the worst of them all. And, again, it may be accurate. I don't know. I wasn't in that locker room. I don't know anybody on the Denver Broncos. I don't know what that situation was like. I know I've heard a lot of those players talk about Tim Tebow in a real positive way.
Yes.
But you don't know that there's not more guys like Brady Quinn that feel like Brady Quinn does. I still think at the end of the day, no reason to say this out loud.
There's probably people that thought it but just kept their mouth shut.
Perhaps. If you look at it as a whole, there's not a lot of things that just don't. I'm sorry. There is a lot of things that just don't seem very humble to me. When I get that opportunity, I'll continue to lead, not necessarily by trying to get in front of a camera and praying, but by praying with my teammates, you know? So now he's saying that Tim Tebow goes out of his way to find that camera to pray in front of it. I have trouble believing that.
Yeah, I don't
think,
buy it.
first of all, the camera, you don't have to look for it.
No.
They probably have one. They've got Tebow Cam. We know it. And we haven't seen it yet. No channel said, hey, look at Tebow Cam. We've seen these things before. I think it was Brett Favre years ago during the preseason, right? They had him on during the whole game. Well, let's look at what Brett Favre's face looks like for the whole. We'll see that with Tebow sooner or later. It might be on the online thing. I know we'll see it. But you know they've got a camera on Tebow. He ain't got to look for anything. And I just feel like there'd be a lot more guys saying these kind of things about Tim Tebow, not just from Denver, but from Florida. There's a lot of guys, he's not teammates anymore from Florida, and I've never heard one of them. I've never heard one of them say that this guy searches for the camera or that this guy's not humble or that this guy's not, there's a lot of people that throw out that holier than thou. And not that Tebow says holier than thou, but a lot of people that are, over the top religious, in your face about it. This is who I am. That at the end of the day, they're just full of crap and they're probably not even good human beings. I don't buy that about Tim Tebow.
Neither do I. And that's the thing. Tim Tebow is doing the right thing by not responding to any of this because, first of all, it's a guy that was just bitter, a guy that's jealous and bitter. And after all said and done, once this is gone, I mean, Tim Tebow is not going to be the one that looks like an idiot because of what Brady Quinn said. Brady Quinn's going to look like an idiot because of what he said.
I'll tell you this, though. It is the classy thing not to say anything. It is the classy thing. But Tim Tebow would gain a whole bunch of fans. Because at the end of the day, I'm one of those guys that, while I don't believe in Tim Tebow as a quarterback, I do believe him as a person. I don't identify myself as a fan. I'm more indifferent than anything. I hope he does well because I hope all athletes do well.
Yeah.
Except for a handful of just jerks.
Thick.
Yeah, well, that goes without saying with me. But I hope all of them do well. I don't root against people. I root against teams.
Yeah.
Okay? So I hope Tim Tebow does well. I'm not going to identify myself as a fan of his. However, tomorrow, I would be full-on Tebow honk like the rest of these Florida knuckleheads if he did one thing. All he has to do is call Rich Eisen, call somebody at the NFL Network, say, I'd like to come on. And I just want him to cut the interview real short. I want him to look in the camera and just say, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, that Brady Quinn won't be my backup next year. And then walk off the set. And I'll be a fan tomorrow because that would be freaking hilarious.
It would be.
He
but
won't do it, though.
That's not the kind of guy he is.
Classier than me. Tim Tebow, 100% classier than Pat Donovan. This is the Pat Donovan Show with Chris Kasak. 11 o'clock, we're all done. Going to be hanging out tonight over at the Pepin Hospitality Facility. What a beautiful place. We'll be out there tonight with the Tampa Bay Rain. Big charity event. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll tell you about that. We'll have a video for you in a couple days. We'll play it during the break of the Pat Donovan Show. And it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're a basketball fan, get your season tickets. They're available already. The Tampa Bay Rain. It's going to be a good time. October 4th is the start of their season in the ABA. And you're home for live streaming sports. We'll also be your home for Rain basketball. We'll see you tomorrow right here on TLSTV.com.